but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Talladega Super Speedway, the Outlaw Sim Series trucks are ready to get it on at the sport's largest arena. 2.66 miles, 33-degree banking, and all the speed you can get right here just outside of Lincoln, Alabama. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth, where we have got a treat for you tonight. The band is back together, and Alan Bergen, my brother from another mother, is going to be alongside of me for the first time in what seems like forever right here on Sim Racing Media. I want to welcome everybody in here to the YouTube.com live chat. And, of course, over on TikTok, we want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening, for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, because we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Alan, here we are, ready to rock and roll, and you know how I feel about this place.
Dude, it's like you're like a kid at Christmas, but here we are at Talladega, and I get to make my debut on TikTok as well. Maybe I'll be TikTok famous, I don't know. But either way, we're here at Talladega. 22 trucks signed in here tonight, and it's going to be fast. It's going to be heart-pounding action. I cannot wait, and I hope you're ready too.
Yes, sir. As we get ready to roll, we want to take a quick look here and see what happened last week. Now, of course, last week, Chris Myers was alongside of me. But, one of the things that made that special is heats are going to be gridding up any second. We're going to get to those notes in just a few moments. Let's quick go down to the racetrack as all 11 drivers in heat number 1 are just hopping into the race trucks. Here they are. And it looks like the 38 and the 99 going to be on the front row. That's Forrest Hamilton and Kevin Thompson, Brandon Combs, and Jeremiah Stutzman. They're going to be on row number 2. Row 3 is Morgan Sterling and Matthew Byers, with Jesse Adams and Joshua Ballier in row number 4. Josh Fox and Adam Gardner are going to be rounding out your starting top 10. And it looks like Devin Smith, Matthew Byers, and Josh Fox have opted not to get in the race trucks yet. They still have a few seconds before doing that, and it looks like Byers is all we're waiting for as we get ready to roll with heat number 1. Of course, this is going to determine who gets to park where as we grid up for our feature race tonight. It was a thrilling road course showdown last week at Watkins Glen. Joshua Reese captured the win in the number 1 Silverado after starting second and running a consistent, clean race. Reese led 6 laps and clocked a fastest lap of 1 minute 14 seconds, holding off a hard-charging Brandon Combs in the number 28 truck, who started 4th and closed the gap to just a half second by the finish. Daniel Park secured the final podium spot in his number 3 Chevrolet, while Benjamin Park and Max Service rounded out the top 5. After a tight midfield battle, we had other incidents and aggressive passes, but several drivers pushed the limits and got through the bus stop and the carousel just fine, as it looks like Mike is hopping in with us over on TikTok. Mikey Mike and Julie and Jimbo. So Mike, Jimbo, Julie, welcome in. And it was hard luck for Joshua Ballier, who led 43 laps and then fell out due to a technical issue. He actually had a full-on failure, which was upsetting for him, and he had to be very frustrated, as the iRacing.com pace truck is going to bring us down the back chute. What are you looking for tonight as we get ready to roll into turn 3?
Well, like here, when we roll into turn 3, first of all, this heat's if you win this heat, you're gonna be on the pole. Now, if you're finishing second, you're gonna start third, you're gonna start 5th. So I would want to finish either second or third. It's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And patience is gonna be the key. There's gonna be 85 laps in tonight's A main, and look. It's going to be patience, and it's not a matter of if the big one's going to happen. It's a matter of when the big one's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a matter of when. But, sometimes I think that's what makes these heats a little bit more useful, if you will. The heat aspect of it, at least for my money, you can sit there and you can kind of feel your truck out. You can kind of feel what's going on, what's doing. As the iRacing.com pace truck is going to peel out for the first time tonight. Now, a little foggy tonight here at Talladega Super Speedway. Want to welcome Mike in. Thanks for giving us a like, folks. Make sure that you do give us a like as Forrest Hamilton comes into the tri-oval. Remember, that start-finish line is beyond the apex of the tri-oval, as now Forrest Hamilton Jr. hits the loud pedal, and we're underway in heat number 1.
Forrest Hamilton getting off to a great start here. Already got trucks going to the extreme outside, trying to get that third line moving. There's only 3 laps, and if you want to start on the pole, you have to win this race.
Yeah, and that's just the way that it's going to have to be tonight. Wow, cutting to the outside. Watch the 94. It's getting really hard to see some of these due to the sim weather conditions, if you will. The 94 Oreo machine, that's a Chevrolet Silverado driven by Matthew Byers. He's trying to form a third line, but maybe here in this stage of the race, it's a little bit too early for that, as we see right now Forrest Hamilton Jr. still controlling the field. We say too early, but when you're not up to speed, you can't really break out and try to create that third line here. A lot of speed's going to be in that middle groove, and now it looks like they are going to try to form up and make just 2 lines, which now shuffles the 94 of Matthew Byers all the way back to third.
Whoa!
And that will probably do it. We stay green. And here are those standings. Of course, we're going to have to refresh some of this a few times. As we are 2 laps to go here in heat number 1. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to welcome everybody in on YouTube.com and TikTok over here. Make sure that you give us a like and a follow right here on Sim Racing Media. Give us a big old thumbs up as we finally get the encoder running. And Morgan Sterling shuffles to the lead in that Busch Apple machine. Hey, man, I grew up in the 90s when people got rid of Busch. You know what I'm saying? Just an idea.
I voted for Clinton, too, but I was in kindergarten.
Yeah. I feel like, you know what? I'm leaving that one alone. Forrest Hamilton Jr. works his way back up into the lead while Devin Smith now lays down a 52.93. So they shaved off about 3 seconds from their qualifying times. They're getting a little loosey-goosey. Watch them go. We're going to go out to the blimp. I know it's hard to see folks through the clouds, but whoa! And there they go. That's the 55 of Jesse Adams and the deuce of Josh Fox facing backwards. And here on the final lap, Forrest Hamilton Jr. making contact, sending, Smith up the racetrack, and wheel to wheel they cross. But the 99 of Forrest Hamilton bests Morgan Sterling here in heat number 1 of the Outlaw Sim Series truck race at Talladega Super Speedway. It's going to go Hamilton, Sterling, Smith, Byers, Combs, Fox, Adams, Stutzman, Gardner, Thompson, and Ballier. Looks like Ballier only got just under 2 laps in, but Hamilton going to be able to celebrate here.
That's Forrest Hamilton. You're putting on the pole here tonight, and Morgan Sterling will be starting in 3rd. Devin Smith will be starting 5th tonight.
And thankfully, it sounds like somebody's paying attention to us because apparently we have an audio echo. Thank you, Mike. Might have to turn Alan down here.
At least someone's paying attention.
Nobody wants to, believe me. They aren't here for you. They're here for me. We're going to get ready here for heat number 2 as Joshua McClune, he's going to be on the front row alongside Jonathan Byer here in heat number 2. Kyle Lingerfelt and Andrew St. Cyr, they're going to be in row number 2. Row 3 made up of Doug Salmos and Matthew Stetzer, while Ben Henry and Joshua Reese hold things down in row number 4. Row 5 and rounding out your top 10 is Aiden Giordano and Tyler Markle, with Merlin Duran bringing up the rear and starting shotgun. And it looks like it's just you echoing on the TikTok feed. So we're going to mute you over on TikTok. Sorry for your luck.
Man, I want to be TikTok famous. That's okay.
Trust me, the only... No, I can't. We'll figure this out.
Hey, look. So the winner of heat number 2 will be starting on the outside of the pole. The second place driver will be starting 4th, and 3rd will be starting 6th, and so on and so forth. And heat number 2 should be just as entertaining as heat number 1 here tonight, as we got 3 laps is the distance here before we go to that 85 lap A main.
Nothing like getting a little bit of production help all the way from Wyoming. That's where our boy Mike is from out there.
Maybe that's the same Mike.
He's our Mike.
Okay.
We're friends on the TikTok. Joshua McClune with control of the field coming into turns 3 and 4. Mike is back, and I'm trying to figure it out. Can't figure out why it's echoing or why they hear it echoing.
Well, nonetheless, the iRacing.com pace car pulls off the field. McClune and Beyer, your front row. Al Lingerfelt is to his starting fourth, and St. Court starting third. The iRacing.com pace car pulls off the pit road, and we are through the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. We are underway here in heat number 2. A good start by Joshua McClune. They're neck and neck, Goodyear to Goodyear. They come up through the gearbox. And like we saw in heat number 1, it's going to take about a lap and a half to get up to speed here before someone starts to force that outside line. As the outside line becomes the dominant line, Jonathan Beyer taking an early lead. He's going to dump down to the inside. No one's going to really force the issue here. Heat number 2 so far is cleaner than heat number 1, as we're 11 touches, squeezing coming down the back straightaway. So far, Andrew St. Court on the point here. And that number 12 truck sets her right behind him. The outside line becoming the more dominant line. And there we see it time and time again as the outside line gets that good push past the leader on the inside. And well, now we're 3 wide. Okay, now we're going to have some fun here. Coming down the back straightaway. 2 laps to go. Joshua Reese on the outside line trying to form up a third line. No one's taking the bait. We're 4 wide. Coming into 3.
Holy Jesus, watch them go. There's not enough room here to do that this early in your evening. Thank goodness that it's a virtual medium, if you will. By the way, your echo has been fixed. Thank you, Mike. The garbage state sucks. And apparently everybody's really upset now that they have to clean up all the trash that they filled the city with. Oh, and by the way, there's trash in the dumpsters, too. White flag in the air here in heat number 2. Andrew St. Court has crawled up 3 positions as Jonathan Beyer takes P2. Kyle Lingerfelt in P3. And they are now 3 wide. Oh, Jesus mighty. By the way, whoa! Contact. The 12 stays strong there in the saddle. He maintains his position. Slides right in front of Ben Henry in the 9. It is quite a night here at Talladega Superspeedway. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here on Sim Racing Media.
We're around.
And they're wrecking behind. Matthew Setzer takes over the lead. He's got Joshua Reese and Kyle Lingerfelt. This is kind of where these guys are going to get to beat the bejesus out of each other. Like a baby in a trailer park. Here we go. Coming into the tri-oval. Who's it going to be? Joshua Reese is going to get just ahead of Aiden Giordano. And as the checkered flag flies, Joshua Reese is going to capture the heat number 2 win. It's going to be Reese, Giordano, Setzer, Lingerfelt, Henry, Doran, Beyer, Markle, Soma, St. Court, and McClune is our French-sounding racer.
What a race that was, heat number 2. Action-packed, and these guys were Goodyear to Goodyear the whole time.
I'll say they were. Now we're going to get ready for our feature this evening. Want to thank everybody for tuning in once again over on YouTube.com and, of course, right here on TikTok. Welcome into the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. You're listening to Sim Racing Media, and you're watching the Outlaw Sim Series truck race here at Talladega Superspeedway, NASCAR's largest track. And let's take a look at the starting grid. Forrest Hamilton Jr. and Joshua Reese, they're going to lead the field that was just set by those 2 heats. Morgan Sterling and Aiden Giordano going to be starting in 3rd and 4th, with Devin Smith and Matthew Setzer in row number 3. Starting in 7th and on the inside of row number 4 is Matthew Byers, with Kyle Lingerfelt in row number 4. Rounding out your starting top 10 is Brandon Combs, as he's going to be back here in the number 28 on the inside in 9th position, with Ben Henry to his outside, starting in 10th. Josh Fox and Merlin Duran, they're going to be starting in 11th and 12th, as Jesse Adams and Jonathan Beyer are going to be holding things down in row number 7. Jeremiah Stutzman going to be starting in 15th position, with Tyler Markle on his outside, with Adam Gardner in 17th and Doug Salmus in 18th, as now the 55 starts moving. Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Cour. They're going to be in row number 10 with Joshua Ballier and Joshua McClune starting shotgun on the field in the 7 and the 6 machine. I did just see that the double nickel of Jesse Adams, that 55 machine, had a little bit of trouble getting the Oreo Chevrolet Silverado to move, but they got that figured out. Todd Mayer, welcome in here to TikTok. Of course, we're also looking for you folks on our YouTube.com stream to be letting us know what you're watching for tonight. Ellis4141 checking in on TikTok. Feel free to give us a like, give us a share.
Apparently TikTok's where it's at, you know?
Is that what people say? Do people
That's
say
what all
that?
the kids That's what all the kids say. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if you insist. Forrest Hamilton Jr. This fog is just this side of irritating. I'm not happy.
You're like the kid at Christmas time that
I mean, listen, here we are
got clothes.
at the greatest racetrack on earth. The iRacing.com pace truck peels on down pit road. Now, for you folks that are watching on TikTok, this is the first time you're going to hear it. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, and off we go at Talladega Super Speedway.
I get literal chills every time you say that, but right now, Forrest Hamilton out to the early lead with Morgan Sterling right behind him. And Dave, we're going to see it time and time again as we're on board with the Busch Light Apple. Ugh.
Yeah, not only is it Busch awful, but then they add apple on top of it.
You know, it tastes like a stale Cheerio.
I'm leaving it alone. Leaving it alone. Watching the 21 on the 1 of Joshua Reese and Aiden Giordano try to work the high side as our cameraman rotates here on top of the 23 of Morgan Sterling. Now we start to see a little bit of clarity here as we work our tails off on lap number 1 and coming back to the start-finish line. Who's going to get credit for leading that first lap? It's Joshua Reese, who started on the outside in P2, so as it was. Joshua Reese from Mount Juliet, now our race leader here at Talladega Superspeedway. 87 laps the scheduled distance tonight, folks. I want to know what crackhead set the weather. This is horrible. I can't see anything. We're on a computer simulation. We can do anything with the weather that we want to. Why would we do this?
I have no idea, but nonetheless, everybody's Goodyear to Goodyear right now. We got more action than a Waffle House at 3 a.m. And we are just on the north side of 3 wide almost.
Working lap number 3, Joshua McClune just held the fast time here as they are 4 wide ahead of him. Let's watch here out of the 65. That's Kyle Lingerfeld. We're going to go on board, watching them do the 4 wide shuffle in front of them. Oh, sweet mother of God. This is absolutely no way to do this. Let's go up to Aiden Giordano as they've now gotten themselves slated out, but they're 3 wide in front of them. He and Joshua Reese are just holding on for dear life up here on the high side. There's no reason to get yourselves all bent out of shape this early in the race. And quite honestly,
They're going to go 4 wide again.
Why? Why?
Kamikaze.
I'll say it is. Good gravy.
Josh Chevalier in the lead right now with not even a full tenth of a second over Forrest Hamilton Jr. I don't want to be leading at any point in this race. You know, it's just too risky.
Four laps in the books. Matthew Setzer takes over the race lead for the time being as they come through the tri-oval. Side by side they go, Setzer and Ballier. They're going to have control of the field as we work here on lap number 5. Watch the 7 and the 5 machines as now they come out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. This is where we're going to see a lot of action here. And we're going to go right out the gearbox here of Joshua McClune. And McClune here, everybody now you can start to see has gotten into two single. They've gone double file, but a long single file line. And for the most part, that's going to start to be able to settle things down. You can start to pick drivers off one at a time or just hang on. You know what? I was just kidding. Obviously, somebody decided they didn't want to be in line anymore.
They want to be different. I think they heard you, Dave. I think they said, you know what?
They probably heard me.
They're not going to do it, Dave. Yeah, they're not going to do what you said. Anyway, nonetheless.
Kyle checking in over here on TikTok. Welcome, Kyle. Folks over on and Henry Cottrell stops in. Over on YouTube and TikTok, you're more than welcome to comment. Let us know what you're paying attention to on tonight's race. You are watching the Outlaw Sim Series Trucks live on Sim Racing Media on YouTube.com. Of course, that's where our primary channel is. And here, taking a little maiden voyage on the Tickety Talk, Dave Riegel and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. They are side by side on lap number 6. And Matthew Byers in the 94, he's starting to get himself settled in behind the 23 of Morgan Sterling in that Busch Apple.
Busch.
I feel like when I hear somebody say that, like, this is, I can't. This is terrible. It's not me. It's apparently a very overcast and cloudy day in Lincoln, Alabama.
Maybe even humid. I don't know.
Oh, it's definitely humid. It's the deep south in July.
Well, hey, we got 81 laps left to go here from Alabama.
Dirt Racing Rewind checks in. You don't have to refer to me as God. It's just me. Oh, it says, oh, my God. That was strange. That's my adopted brother.
Dirt Racing Rewind?
Yep, that's my West Coast brother from another mother. You're my Central Time Zone whore.
Hey.
I work with
Ballier
skanks from all across the country.
Joshua Ballier continues to lead this one over Matthew Setzer. Forrest Hamilton right against. Look, I feel like that second, third, fourth, fifth you're in a catbird seat. You're just far enough back and, something pops off. But you're head of the mid-pack big one, if you will. Because that big one usually happens in right around that 10th position.
Yeah, that's what they call me.
The big one?
Yep. Usually when I'm walking into, an old country buffet or something. Ballier, Setzer, Combs, Hamilton, Smith, and Sterling. That's your top 6. They're all up here. And look who's trying to make it go 3 wide for sweet mother of Jesus. The 88 of Jeremiah Stutzman must also double his life as a kamikaze pilot. Dirt Racing Rewind says it looks great. Appreciate that. I already know I do. How does the feed look? And with Stutzman here on the high side, he's still keeping it 3 wide. Suddenly, Ben Henry becomes the meat in this sandwich. And what do they say, Alan? The last thing you want to hear from your spotter is 3 wide. You're the meat.
You do not want to be in the middle here. Anywhere. Actually, anywhere. You don't want to be in the middle anywhere. I feel like lap 10 of 87. That's a pretty bad time to be 3 wide. A little nerve-wracking, if I do say so myself.
I was just talking smack over on the YouTube feed. As we look here out the back of Matthew Setzer, he's our race leader. And just as we're working here on lap number 10, we're starting to see some more of that high line start to filter its way in. There's a lot of speed locked up there, but this isn't like Daytona where you can use that high line like a shovel. You know, right now the 95 of Devin Smith, he's going to push up the 28 of Brandon Combs, but they're going to run out of steam in turns 3 and 4. You can get a little bit of that going on, but quite honestly, not enough.
You know, and we're going to probably see typical Talladega, where the outside line will push, you know, Brandon Combs past Matthew Setzer, and then Matthew Setzer is going to drop down onto the inside line, and eventually, you know, just dump the outside line like a fat girl at the prom.
Setzer, Combs, I assume that he's not related to the other Combs that's been in the news lately.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not really slip sliding around, so I don't think there's any baby oil on that car. Too soon? He got found guilty. Mike says the fog looks amazing. Thanks, Mike. Love you too.
We love Mike.
I mean, to be fair, he does become my morning person partner every time we go away together. Everybody else in the house is asleep. Mike and I are having coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning while everybody else is trying to recover from the day before. I like to think of myself as a gladiator, but not like the Greek kind of gladiator that you have to worry about whether or not you're wearing pants when you go to bed.
Look, all I'm saying is when we do another trip where you're involved, me and you will be sipping either mimosas or Bloody Marys.
Alan, I don't drink the mimosa or the blood. I've had a mimosa. Okay, had my first one last year, but and I don't drink Bloody Marys because it makes me think of George Jefferson's mother. Mother Jefferson always had to have a Bloody Mary. Oh, yeah, just fabulous. Can't find a camera view to see what's going on. Guess we're staying on camera 1. Matthew Byers here in the 94 just got himself right up behind Ben Henry. Just kidding, camera 1 now completely fogged in. No, Mike, I cannot go to Vegas in October. I have been to spring training in March. I go to Myrtle Beach on Saturday. Cannot bring myself to go to Las Vegas in October. Send me pictures. Justin Kime dropping in. Folks, make sure to give us a thumbs up and a follow over here on TikTok. And, of course, subscribe and turn on those bell notifications on our YouTube feed so you can be notified every time we go live here on Sim Racing Media, as they are all but 3 wide.
Oh, this is going to be nerve-wracking. They're 3 wide again. Brenda comes in the middle.
Hold on to your pants. This one's going to be scary. Amy Rivera checking in just as I say hold on to your pants. Appreciate that. Wow! Watch the 9. He is wild loose as a goose. They're still side by side. Let's take a look back here where things seem to have calmed down toward the rear of the field now. I see a lot of drivers back here like Joshua Reese and Aiden Giordano. Now, they started obviously up in second and fourth on the outside. They've dropped all the way back. Why do you think that is, Alan?
It's a strategy move, sir.
Right. And what's the strategy?
To avoid all the trouble.
There you go. Now, I don't want to jinx it, but let's just suffice it to say, and Mike jinxed it. It's like talking about a no-hitter while it's going on. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're only in the first quarter of this race. But so far, so good here from Talladega Super Speedway. Joshua Ballier leading the way, but, these two drivers, Reese and Giordano, they're the ones that I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing later on and how they're going to figure out how to work their way up further. Now, it looks like here Stutzman's going to step out of line and bring along Joshua Reese. They're going to get alongside of Merlin Duran. Do you think if Merlin has a brother that maybe they would be Duran and Duran? No? It's now Foggy and Sunny at the same time.
Is it wrong I was thinking of that? Maybe it's like Michael Bolton off of Office Space. It's a coincidence,
Could be as we work lap number 17. We're now 70 to go here at Talladega.
Well, we're not missing anything up in the front of the field as Joshua Ballier continues to lead this piece with Brandon Combs right hot on his tail. We're watching that number 45 truck. And the 88 truck of Jeremiah Stutzman just set the fastest lap of the race at the 54 with the 50.49.
Up to 2,100 likes over on the TikTok. Who wouldn't like? Hick Scheiker checking in. Welcome in. Joshua Ballier leads the way. But Jeremiah Stutzman just laid fast time down. He's starting to bring that second half of the field along. It was Mike. Mike was 2,100 likes. This is why we're friends.
He liked the button. He hit the like button 2,100 times.
I'm guessing.
How many times?
That's 2,100. That's
how many
times?
Yeah. I bet he had all his kids in it too. Kids, come watch the stream.
Things said at Diddy parties. Tell me you've been to a Diddy party without being to a Diddy party.
Nonetheless, here we are, 18 in the 19 in the history book. We're working lap 20 now. And here we are, Devin Smith up to second position on the inside line. Brandon Combs, though, trying to make something happen on the outside line. And he's got that number 94 truck right along with them. Wait, sorry, that's the 99 truck of Forrest Hamilton. I think Forrest Hamilton's got 99 problems in the lead, ain't one.
Just came up with that little ditty all on your own, huh?
I mean, actually, the rap artist in the 90s came up with it for me. I do have a little ditty about Jack and Diane.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
The 7 and the 28 now going side by side at the front of this thing. Let's go deeper in the field and check these drivers out that are single file. We're going to go on board here with the 56 of Adam Gardner. And as we make our run through the field, the Methuen native has only given up one position so far. He started in 17th, runs in 18th. Gives a little bit of a bump draft to the 21. This is where, you can really practice your restrictor plate racing craft, if you will.
here's the thing about running Talladega, right? You got the double yellow line. Well, you know, I paid attention to Dale Jr. when he took Cletus McFarland around this racetrack. That you can put your car, your left sides, below the first yellow line, and that buys you about maybe a little bit of advantage. But you just can't put the left sides below both yellow lines.
Mike has ordered us don't diddy. And, you know, to your point, you know, if you folks at home can see this, that double yellow line that Alan's talking about is right here on the left, as we're going to get these pesky standings out of the way. Nobody needs to see that until the last couple of laps anyway. But the other thing is, that's not Sherwin-Williams treadplexes. Oh, hello. Adam Gardner decided, whoa!
Oh.
Holy crap. The 88 of Jeremiah. Oh! And the 12 is sideways. That's not gonna be helpful. Let's see if we can find what just happened with the 12. That's Andrew St. Cour. And of course now it's moving so fast I can't keep up with it. But watch Merlin Duran. He's going to collect St. Cour. Looks like St. Cour might have just checked up a little harder than Duran was anticipating. But if we've got 22 laps in the books, drivers coming down now, that's going to make this a 3-stop race. It means things are about to fan out pretty wide here. 23 laps in the books. Tire wear, not that big of a deal here. Katie Wilson, welcome in. Junior wrecking Vickers at Dega. Way! You remember that? That was fabulous. Alan, are you even there? Bueller.
I do remember that. I am here.
Where the hell were you?
I am here. I have no idea. I'm connected.
Couldn't hear you. 24 laps in the books. Here comes the 7. Joshua Ballier in his natural 7 coming down pit road. Must be a little slick getting down there, but he's fine now as he lines up. He's going to have a quick way into his pit box, as he's going to come in for pit service. One side goes up, drops. The other side goes down. Top that bad boy off with Sunoco Racing fuel. And a very gentle way off of pit road is Joshua Ballier.
No, I will never live that one down.
Folks, if you didn't know, once upon a time, Alan Bergen was on the air, and believe me, there's Alan and I both work in a similar field, and sometimes you're just exhausted at the end of the day, and then you come in here to the broadcast booth as Brandon Combs, Morgan Sterling, Devin Smith, Matt Setzer, Forrest Hamilton, and Joshua McClune, they're all going to come down pit road. Sometimes you're just a little tired, a little sleepy.
Tired, a little sleepy.
And Alan fell asleep live on the air.
Well, we weren't live on the air. Well,
no,
technically.
No, we were technically on the air.
Technically. Now, Mike has a different version of the story.
What's Mike's version?
I did go night-night.
I can absolutely tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I have fallen asleep while calling Monday Night NASCAR.
I know. I've been there.
I mean, back in the day when we were up until 1 o'clock in the morning calling Monday Night NASCAR, after a full day at work, yeah, I was out. Might have done it to Western States, too.
So, funny story about that. I did it to Western States. I was in the middle of an interview.
Yeah, I've slept through interviews. Folks, you know, we work full-time jobs. We're real people.
Now, when I fell asleep first time around, we were watching the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model series. Because you had so many.
Whoa!
many,
Watch
many,
the double
Whoa!
nickel. That's not
Oh.
going to be good. Jesse Adams and collected the one. Jesse
Joshua
Adams
Reese.
angrily smokes himself back around. And these are your leaders. That's going to shuffle Brandon Combs potentially up into the lead if they can get around. And the caution's out. Oh, all 8 of those cars on pit road are going to be very angry.
Furious.
Madder than a Keebler elf getting demoted to Fudge Packer.
There it is.
How do you think they apply for that job?
I mean, is it a demotion, though?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it a come up. So that's going to be an interesting development here at the conclusion of green flag pit stops. The last grouping of drivers came down for pit service. Usually you see that like at the beginning of pit stop cycles, but green flag pit stops interrupted by a caution flag tonight on lap number 28. That's going to put Matthew Byers in the lead. Tyler Markle goes P2. Aiden Giordano, Josh Fox, Kyle Lingerfeld. That's your top 5. Nothing major to speak of here. In fact, I don't see a single incident leading up to this.
Well, we know it's not a stage break.
Nye checking in. Chaco. Jeremy Davis. Over on TikTok.
TikTok is getting all the love tonight.
It really is. 3,123 likes. Got more views over on the Tickety Talk.
I mean, we're just slowly becoming TikTok famous.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's
We're
exactly
slowly
what it is.
something, that's sure. That's for sure.
I mean, the only thing I do fast is run to the refrigerator.
Well, folks, and for those of you on TikTok, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, he's Alan Bergen, and this is the Outlaw Sim Series.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be
be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to Talladega, Alabama, or Lincoln, Alabama, where we are at the Talladega Super Speedway. And right now we're getting ready to come back to green with Brandon Combs and Matthew Byers on the front row. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. Not Chevy Silverado. So we get ready to come back to green flag racing here. 29 laps in the history books. We're working lap number 30. And I tell you what, so far this has been a great race so far. Lots of action as we get ready to come down to the green flag here. This a little bit longer. And Dave, I know you know this. I know you said it 1,000 times. But I am so glad that when Bill France built this facility, they put the start-finish line at the end of the tri-oval to sell more seats. Because here we go. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. From Talladega, green flag is out. We are back underway. Matthew Byers out to the early lead here. They are going to be single filed out as we get up to the gearbox. Third, fourth gear as they turn into turn number 1. The name of the game here is to mash the gas as hard as you can. And right now the inside line has that side advantage over the outside line coming down the back straightaway.
Matthew Byers with control of the field just ahead of the 28 of Brandon Combs. And now Combs is able to slide ahead of him. He's being pushed along by the 95 of Devin Smith. That high line has a lot of momentum early on here after our first caution of the evening. Lap number 31 of 87 here at Talladega Superspeedway. Dave Riegel and Alan Bergen with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to welcome everybody in from YouTube land and TikTok land. Make sure to subscribe over on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time we go live. And over here on TikTok, make sure to subscribe. Give us a follow. Bunch of thumbs up. I loathe you sometimes. Ben Henry holding down P6 for the time being. You can just about make him out here in that black and yellow machine. He's got the 99 of Forrest Hamilton creeping up on the outside with the 5 of Matthew Setzer giving him a push from behind.
Here we are, 3 wide, already 2 rows deep, and we're still loving, touching, and squeezing. There's more action right here than that Waffle House at 3 a.m. Goodyear to Goodyear, we are 3 wide. You know, this takes me back this takes me back to whenever our good friend Daniel Paulus wanted to side draft at the Chicago Street Course. He fell off the face of the earth. Make sure though that you hit those like and subscribe, get those bells ringing over here on the YouTube.com side, as well as the Tickety Talk. Oh, around he goes with the Salt Live, and he look. You're gonna be happy that he took out the Busch Light can.
Oh my. Gets a little bump from the 38. Nothing major. I don't see where any of this occurred. And this is much earlier. That would be why. Gardner looks to split him. Oh,
There it is.
hooks the 5. He goes up and down. Everybody scampers out of the way. And the 56 just scurries ahead. I hope he has an apology for those drivers later.
I mean, Adam Gardner just gave her the beans and let it eat.
Yeah, great view, Mike. Thanks. Can't see anything. This has got to be the hardest single race I've ever had to call anywhere, just because of the amount of fog on the racetrack right now. It's absurd.
You're doing great. So Shane and I encountered a similar type race at Nashville Super Speedway with Icon, and bless their hearts, they tried. As the sun went down, the fog finally lifted about halfway through the race.
This is just ridiculous. I don't think, you know what, there was a couple of years ago, Sunday Night Football. I think it was Sunday Night Football. I know that it was the Patriots. Couldn't see hardly anything.
Well, that's going to put Jeremiah's Sussman up to the front there, as we got a few drivers electing to come down pit road. Maybe back there in the back and try to short pit, try to put some more gas in the gas tanks and, make it a little bit further and without having to pit. Nonetheless, here we are, working lap number 36. 35 laps in the books. Brandon Combs currently running second. Biggest mover currently is your leader, Jeremiah Sussman, and he is going to come down pit road. One taker this time by. 2, 3. Okay, we've got some other guys coming down pit road. And a whole host of others. Gotta like the view of the crash. Mike, love you, Mike. Love you.
He's just paying attention to things. And
I'm glad
this just
somebody
in
is, 'cause I'm not.
speaking of the West Coast, from earlier, I just got a picture from my good buddy who lives in San Diego, who we know. And it is much nicer there than it is in Lincoln, Alabama, and he just told me to shove it up my nose for complaining about virtual weather. So they're watching in the Padres radio booth, which means it's really, really boring. Oh, no,
Either
they're not
that or
game
the
time.
Padres
No, it's
are-
not game time yet. They're an evening game, and it's 6 o'clock West Coast.
Okay.
Yep, there it is. Now, Mike just pulled the curtain all the way back. We are officially 50 laps to go here. Want to welcome everybody in to YouTube.com and, of course, over here on TikTok. Make sure that you give us a thumbs up over on YouTube. And, of course, give us a follow on TikTok. Lindsay Nicole checking in. Speaking of honey buns,
How's she doing these days?
fabulous.
You know, before we come back to green, Dave, in the morning I, listen to talk radio, and then about halfway to work, I like to jam out, get my mind right for the day. But the other day I threw on some ABBA for you.
Ah, that's fabulous. I'm so proud of you. And it's not even June anymore.
No.
Make sure that you do tune in from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Sunday on 105.5 WMGH or on the WMGH app. Magic 105.5 hosting, of course, Polka Joe and the Magic Polka Machine. Brandon Combs going to bring us back to green here in the 28. He drops the loud pedal, and off we go. He's being pushed along by the 99 of Forrest Hamilton, the 94 and the 95 on the high side. They really wanted to keep the numbers close for this one, folks, as now the low line almost goes single file 4 deep. And now there's 6 deep single file. Looks like drivers may be considering maybe a more conservative approach. Wow! To the second half of this race, as we're just approaching halfway here.
I don't know about that conservative approach.
They've got
But,
plenty of time, is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm picking up what you put down.
Are you, though?
Look, as Kenny Wallace likes to say, we exhausted.
Also,
Aiden joined us here on TikTok.
The who?
Aiden joined us on TikTok.
It's been a minute. Thanks for being on top of things. Speaking of which, did you take a look at the Sim Racing Media message bin? I don't know how to say this person's name, but I don't think we should reply. Go, Mike, and yep, I see 5,000 because Mike is being a great friend right now. 5,000 likes over on TikTok. Mike and Alan, I encourage both of you to go to the TikTok Messenger, or I'm sorry, the Sim Racing Media Messenger on Facebook. Just look at that first message. I don't think we should reply.
Oh boy! Look, when you start something off, say I don't think we should reply.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. But it's given me a reminder several times to look at the message. I'm good. Kevin Thompson up here in the 38. He was just swinging high and decided to bring it back in behind the 9 of Ben Henry. Sounds like a rabbi. Rabbi Ben Henry. Looking out the rear of Ben Henry's number 9 Toyota Tundra. He's got nothing but a rear view mirror full of the 38 of Kevin Thompson out of Noonan, Georgia. Out of Fadley's Auto Masters. Just ahead of him.
Okay. Don't reply to that one. Probably couldn't read it.
Yeah. Yep, definitely not a good idea.
That's almost like hitting the red button.
Do not hit the red button, Slick. Oh, I see some of that fog burning off here on the front stretch.
Finally.
Well, let's take a look here at our weather conditions. It says it's overcast. I got news for them. It's more than overcast. But the track temperature, that's what's going to be important here. 84 degrees, 70 degrees in the outdoor ambient air in the sim. And, 84 degrees, that track is like Velcro for these tires. It's holding on, it's gripping, they're not going anywhere. It's great for racing. However, if that sun should start to pop out, and God, I hope it does, we're going to see that track temperature jump up, and then we're going to wind up seeing a lot more slipping and sliding. As we work here on lap number 42, just barely at the halfway point.
And look who is Goodyear to Goodyear with Brandon Combs. That's number 88 truck. I love that number 88 truck, that Kodak machine, the throwback to Sterling Marlin and the Ford truck. Ernie Irvin drove that number 4 car. I just love that throwback paint scheme. Takes me back to the childhood that was mine.
Yeah, I'm certainly not mad at it, that's for sure.
I think you were on the tail end of it, weren't you, Dave?
Sterling Marlin, when I was a kid, was driving the Kodak machine, and when I started watching racing, he had just gone Dodge and went to the 40.
Okay, you were on the tail end of the Morgan McClure days, and on the front end of the Chip Ganassi days.
Yes. Yeah, Ganassi was supposed to be all kinds of progressive, and they turned out to fizzle, pop, and bang. Which is a lot like prom night.
Were you crying on prom night?
No. No, I was... can't say it on TV. Joshua checking in. Welcome in, Josh. Jeremiah Stutzman up 10 positions after qualifying. And now Stutzman up into 4th position, giving a big shove to the 95 of Devin Smith. Ay.
I will say this, though, Dave. We have the winner to the race of the beer stand.
Yeah?
Jesse Adams in the double nickel. Already got that, savory Yingling plight in hand.
Right now it's going to be Brandon Combs, Devin Smith, Forrest Hamilton Jr., Jeremiah Stutzman, Matthew Byers, Josh Fox, Kyle Lingerfelt, Morgan Sterling, Matthew Setzer, and Adam Gardner, your top 10. Things starting to calm down again toward the back, but the front just heating up. 46 laps in the books. It's about to be 40 to go this time by. As we thank everybody for checking in tonight on TikTok and YouTube. Welcome in Tammy, Josh, Mike. Had Julie in here earlier.
TikTok is a happening place to be right now. YouTube, I think I just saw a tumbleweed in the youtube.com live chat.
Yeah, it just rolled through helplessly. Spicy farts. Somebody stole a screen or a username I should have had years ago. Spicy farts. Had a pleasant surprise last night. Speaking of spicy farts,
Oh, goodness.
pleasant surprise upon walking into Applebee's. They are still doing the all-you-can-eat boneless wings, riblets, or chicken tendies. Let me tell you, after losing 56 pounds, I was not afraid to go face first into a pile of boneless wings. Then they want to put french fries on that plate. I'm not a rookie. I only picked at them because I was hungry and waiting for the next plate to come. And that's how you celebrate losing 56 pounds. I feel like that's fair. Nutritionist told me I was losing weight too fast. I needed to slow things down. Have I got a deal for you?
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. I think she would have been, I'll bet you she would have been mad if she'd have turned the TV on the 4th of July and seen me going head first into the hot dog eating contest on Coney Island. You know, as much as I would,
qualified.
yeah, because you're not supposed to, you have to eat them orally. But, you know, here's the thing. They use Nathan's hot dogs, and I realize that that's their sponsor, and that's where Nathan's got its start from, and I'm not mad about that. I just think Nathan's is trash. And I have a list of the best processed meat procurers in the Northeast.
Yes, you do.
And for those of you, in fact, put it on the poll, Guillermo. Do we want to know what that top 5 is? And Alan, your vote doesn't count.
I'm going to say one of them's ballpark rank.
Nope, absolutely not. Also trash.
Hunter hot dog, Hunters?
No. And not Sugardale or Hippies either. These are all actually based in eastern Pennsylvania. There's no, and I've had hot dogs all over the eastern seaboard. And the best ones are right here at home. First and foremost, it's of course the Burke's Packing Original. Now, the grillers are okay. I do like the grillers, but the originals are always the best. They have pork and beef in them, no chicken. Then, of course, second, and Burke's Packing hot dogs are also, of course, the official hot dog of the Reading Fightin' Phils AA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies, which that means that we can transition now to that. The number 2 is, of course, Hatfield Quality Meats hot dogs, the official hot dog of the Philadelphia Phillies. 3 in a surprise move is Kunzler, also in Pennsylvania. 4 is Bar S. If you're ever short on cash, you can always, and you're still hungry, obviously.
Wait.
Yep.
Wait. Bar S made the list?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a struggle dog. Yeah, man. Yep. I feel like I'm trying to pick you up off the floor here.
No, I'm just shocked because that's like the hot dog that you got to save a lot to get.
I get them at Walmart. If you go to Save-A-Lot, you get Save-A-Lot's even scarier. We've gone single file through the top 8. Single file back to the top 9, and that's where Josh Fox and Devin Smith are duking it out behind. Now watch this, folks. Devin Smith basically has a giant, big old parachute on the 95. When you step out of line like that, you're going to lose all of your momentum and all of your draft help.
And now we're parading around Talladega Speedway in Lincoln, Alabama.
Oh, yeah. 52 laps in the books, just about 30 to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. 53 now at the line. Little yawn here. Brandon Combs, Forrest Hamilton, Matthew Byers, Kyle Lingerfelt, Morgan Sterling, Matthew Setzer, Ben Henry, Adam Gardner, Devin Smith, and Tyler Markle. That's your top 10 right now in the Outlaws Sim Series truck race here at Talladega Super Speedway. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to welcome everybody on in, of course, here to youtube.com. That's our primary channel, primary location for Sim Racing Media. And, of course, you can also check us out over on TikTok. I want to welcome everybody in there. 5,690 likes. Just about that 5,700 mark. So welcome in G. Donellan. Looks like Sam checking in. Katie Wilson, Jay Pham. Brandon Combs getting us, now we're over 5,700 likes. Brandon Combs leading the way. He's getting a little bit of a challenge here. That's Ben Henry in the 9, being pushed along by the 95 of Devin Smith. Devin Smith running P4 right now, just over top of Matthew Byers in the Oreos Chevrolet Silverado as we work lap number 54. Alan, I'll tell you what, we've been along here for quite some time, and these drivers really have their act together.
Yeah, absolutely, and these guys are just starting to get a little bit antsier, and you're going to definitely need some help from your friends here. Just like the Beatles song, or, the Beatles. But here we go. Switching lanes down there in the back. The middle of the pack starting to get a little impatient, not content with riding around there. So we got one truck decided to go to the outside. For the most part, people are figuring it out.
Yeah, and this is the kind of place where you don't really feel your way around. All you, at least on the asphalt itself, you wind up feeling your way around with the people that you're racing with. You don't want to be out there with some lunatic who just did a line of coke and snorts meth on the weekends. You want to be out here with somebody who's got their head screwed on straight. You don't want to, take chances, make mistakes, or get messy. This is not the Magic School Bus.
Well, I will say this, though, Dave, in the world of baseball, congratulations to your Philadelphia Phillies knocking out the San Francisco Giants 13-0.
Oh, yes, the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's not talk about them.
Look, my Cardinals are getting pulverized 7-1. At least they're on the board there in Washington.
Well, they got
or here in St. Louis.
Phillies knocked off the Giants today, 13-0. They're going to spend their weekend in, to me, the most beautiful venue in all of sports, Petco Park.
Wait, is that where they're again?
Yeah, they're playing the Padres this weekend.
Does that mean you and Frank are bitter enemies for 72 hours?
No.
Okay.
No. He only works for them. He I don't know if I'm not contractually obligated to keep my mouth shut. He is a diehard bleeder of the orange and blue. He loves him some Mets action. And he knows that for those 19 times a year that the Mets and the Phillies play one another, I think muck the Fets. We are single file from P1 to P19 with no variation in between. They've all decided to strap on the feed bag and gobble up the next several miles here at Talladega as we are 30 to go.
Yeah, still single file out. We're not really missing anything throughout the field here. It's second verse, same as the first. Right now, Brandon Combs leads Forrest Hamilton by 0.8 of a second there. Not a whole lot of lead there. Yeah, here comes Adam Gardner making a move to the outside. He's making a charge. He is up to third. Where did he find that speed? He's got to do a little bit of side drafting. He just single-handedly come out of nowhere to take the lead. Drop down, Adam. Drop down. There he goes. And then just as I say that, here comes Forrest Hamilton up. That's Ben Hendry in the 9. Where did he come from? Outside line picking up speed. Jeremiah Stubbs going to make it 3 wide and Torm up. Oh. And here comes the 94 car, Matthew Byers. We're having fun now. 3 wide. Jeremiah Stutzman up 14 positions. Right now, the biggest mover of the race is Kevin Thompson in that number 38 vehicle. We're 3 wide again. Oh, be careful. Please be careful. We are 11 touches speeding right now. There's more action than that Waffle House. Here we go. You're not missing anything at the front of the field. Here's where all the action is. Right around that Ben Combs area. That 9th position, right where he started at. 3 trucks trying to form up a draft on the outside. Adam Gardner shuffled all the way back to 3rd.
"61 laps in the books. Jeremiah Stutzman leading the way. I want to thank everybody for checking in over on TikTok and, of course, right here at SRM's home on YouTube.com. And for those of you watching over on TikTok, speaking of the finest of all processed meats, Kavalanik's Kobashi Shop in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania. That was one of the Hawaiian meat sticks.
Nice.
Does the hula all the way down your esophagus. Watching them go here, we were just 19 deep of single file, and now everybody's decided it's almost like they get bored for a few minutes and they think, okay, this is how we're going to run this.
Well, here comes Matthew Byers in that number 94 car. And here comes the 9 truck trying to go 3 wide. Trying to find something on the extreme outside. So we got several drivers hitting pit road. Here we go. We got at least 6 of them coming in right now.
This is going to be our second round of green flag pit stops as the 28, 99, 65, 23, 5, and 95 all going to come down pit road. A clean pit road entrance as Brandon Combs is the first to get into his box. Almost everybody else, like synchronized swimming, manages to wiggle into their respective pit boxes. And now boogieing down the backstretch is Andrew St. Cyr. He's going to take over the race lead for the time being. But they are 3 wide and angry back there as the Alder Point, Nova Scotia native leads the way here in the number 12 Ford F-150. He's going to break loose and dip below that double yellow line, and that's going to turn the lead over to Josh Fox out of Leamington. It's going to be Josh Fox, Joshua Reese out of Mount Juliet, Jonathan Byer, and Tyler Markle. They're going to stay out here together as St. Cyr, Byers, Gardner, Salma, Stutzman, Thompson, McClune, and St. Cyr all come down pit road. So the only drivers left on the lead lap not to come down pit road are out there now, and it looks like they're all setting themselves up on that inside line to get ready here. And folks, I strongly recommend everybody go to Cavallanic's Kibasi shop in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania. Shenandoah, also the home of Mrs. T's Pierogies, the world headquarters.
Nice. Well, now your leaders are coming down pit road.
Which is going to rotate St. Coeur to the race lead for the time being. But they're just coming off of pit road and getting themselves up to speed. He coughed that lead up faster than the Phillies bullpen as Forrest Hamilton now takes over.
I got nothing for that one.
I'm not wrong.
I mean, right now, my beloved Cardinals are giving the game to the Washington Nationals here in St. Louis. So
Mike popping his head back into TikTok. Mike, do you want to see my meat? Kevin Thompson in the 38 has been stepping in and out of line. Nobody's worried about engine temperature issues as we're 23 laps to go. So I don't know if he's trying to encourage people to come along with him, maybe try to get a second line formed up here. But with now 22 laps to go at the line, I think we're going to have to wait about another 8 to 9 laps before we start seeing those agreements and deals being made.
well, since you did the best hot places to get hot dogs in Philadelphia, we're gonna bring it out to the Midwest. Ready for number one? Steve's Hot Dogs.
Who?
Steve's Hot
Oh!
Dogs.
The 38 is on its roof. Oh, I'm sorry, the 28.
And that was scary to watch. Brandon Combs goes end over end, barrel rolls. That was almost reminiscent of Todd Bodine's wreck there at Talladega.
Oddly enough, the virtual truck keeps driving. Let's watch this again. Now the 28 gets hooked, lifted, and turned. Oh! That'll do it.
That's a trip to the virtual. That's a trip to the virtual hospital.
Dirt Racing Rewind asking if this race is not over yet. No. That's why we're still here. Nick Crow checking in. Hey, Nick. Trying to get to 10,000 likes before the end of this.
Where are we at now?
89. Nope. 90-26.
We're getting there.
Mike's going to wind up with carpal tunnel. Mike, it's okay if we don't make the 10,000. Trust me.
I bet he's texting all his friends.
We're all here. By the way, Dirt Racing Rewind is number 2. Mike is number 1 on the gift thing here.
Nick Crow is number 3.
When we go back green flag racing, now that triggered some wholesale pit stops for Forrest Hamilton, Jonathan Byer, Devin Smith, Matthew Setzer, Brandon Combs, Merlin Duran, Doug Solmus, Jeremiah Stutzman, Tyler Markle, and Kevin Thompson. So that's going to kind of level the playing field here with these last 20 laps. Alan. Appreciate you, Chris. It's the only time that I get to be seen in public wearing glasses. But so with 20 to go, they can all make it on fuel. They can all make it on tire wear. This is it. Barring another caution over the next 20 laps, we should start to see these drivers really crank up the heat and turn that volume to crazy. So as we get ready to head into this to the twilight of this race, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal. He's Alan Bergen, and this is the Outlaw Sim Series truck race at Talladega Superspeedway.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast Booth, where we are just heading into the twilight of the Outlaw Sim Series truck race at Talladega Superspeedway. The green flag flies, and we're back underway. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and, of course, getting to these 11,000 likes today on TikTok. We appreciate you. Of course, we appreciate everybody over on YouTube.com. Matthew Byers, Andrew St. Cyr, Josh Fox, Morgan Sterling, and Adam Gardner. Those are your top 5, but at a place like Talladega, those top 5 are just sitting ducks for somebody running about 14th to come up and get them.
Here we are, 3 wide, 18 laps to go. This is where the sands of the hourglass essentially start to run out if you're a little deeper beyond 14th, maybe around 15th, 16th, or 17th. But we've seen crazier things happen. Dale Earnhardt, the man, the myth, the legend himself, did come from 18th to win his final race with the Herminator pushing him to the checker.
I mean, you know, we talk about a couple different types of racetracks every year. Of course, we have our short tracks, our road courses, the intermediates. Oh! And there we go.
Oh,
the
no!
12 and the 9 looks like they get tangled up. Oh! And now the wall. We were on board for that. And most of the field just went boom. As Matthew Byers scurries away like he just stole it.
I was wanting to know who pulled the proverbial pin on the grenade and launched it.
Probably the guy that's not keying up on race radio right now. Looking to see if we can get a better camera view of this one here. As they were just coming out at 2. Let's see if we can get that. Oi. And it's just pandemonium the rest of the way as everybody's wrecking and spinning out of control. Mike's definitely right. It's typical Talladega racing. Janet checking in. But we're still
Love you,
far
Mike.
beyond, still very far beyond where we need to start worrying. $16 laps to go. Let's see if we can get a hold of some of our drivers here. Give them a quick interview. Hey Adam, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Folks, you're listening to the voice of Adam Gardner. Adam, listen, you're going to restart P2. I mean, this is only the 4th caution all night long. What's going to be the strategy? Staying ahead of the mayhem or trying to get the win the hard way?
End of the day, the last few weeks have been a little on the rougher side. But they say a win fixes everything. So it's been a while since I picked up a win over here, and you kind of got to go for it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're 15 to go. I would say as long as you're in that window, probably in the next 10 laps or so, you might as well strap in and not lift. But listen, man, you've run yourself a good race so far tonight. You started in 17th. You're up here in 2nd. Really not a whole lot to complain about.
Yeah, it's been a little harder to pass than I thought it was going to be at the start of the night, which has definitely made it a little bit more, thought going into when you're making a move.
Right.
The fuel mileage game that we were getting there for a little bit was definitely interesting. It was kind of strange to see the pack doing like 170, and then we could just pull out and drive past the whole back at will. But, I was hoping for a good finish here. No matter what, it's been an absolute blast of a race. Led some laps, have come from the back to the front a few times, and just having a lot of fun out here.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Is that, of course, you're going to restart P2, and we're going to see what's going to happen next. As it looks like the iRacing.com pace car is ready to bring you back into the tri-oval. You should be at 1 to go, so good luck. Go with God and don't take any wooden nickels.
Sounds good. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show you're going to see here to the finish and been enjoying it so far.
We absolutely shall. I mean, one of the things that we've talked about time and time again is the fact that these guys in this league put on an amazing show. They never seem to disappoint for us, and hopefully we don't disappoint for them as we're 14 laps to go. A quick little recap here. Coming back to the green flag, it's going to be Matthew Byers, Adam Gardner, Josh Fox, Morgan Sterling, Forrest Hamilton Jr., Doug Salmas, Devin Smith, Merlin Duran, Jonathan Byer, and Jeremiah Stutzman. That's your restarting top 10, and we could still have a winner coming out of the pile even deeper in 14, 13, or 12, because there's 14 laps to go. There's plenty of time left for, 1, mistakes to be made, and 2, legends to be written.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting ready for, a restart here with 14 to go. It's going to be 13 to go when we cross the line. Adam Gardner so far this year couldn't buy good luck. But here he is. Just about avoided everything, including the kitchen sink to get up here in this top 2.
Just in case you thought you lived in a dumb place. Just in case. I just got a reminder from the Pennsylvania Department of Health. Do not in all caps, swallow pool water.
Pool water is the cleanest water you can get.
There's still pee in it.
Nonetheless, the iRacing.com pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to go back to green with 14 laps to go. 13 when they cross the line. It's going to be Matthew Byers, Adam Gardner on your front row right now. Josh Fox and Morgan Sterling in the Busch Light Apple truck making up the second row here. As we come down to the Geico restart zone. 3, 2, 1. Green flag is back out. We're racing once again here in Talladega.
Matthew Byers with a good restart, but the 56 with a better restart. Now the 94's got an advantage. The two truck is right up against his rear bumper. They're already locked together. The 23 of Morgan Sterling wants to smack that Busch Light Apple right off the rear of the 56 of Adam Gardner. We stay green flag racing as we come down the back chute with 13 laps to go. It's going to be Byers and Gardner duking it out side by side as Byers gets another helpful push out of the deuce of Josh Fox.
Josh Fox banging the back bumper of Matthew Byers. The energy drink bang. 2x2, Goodyear to Goodyear. Coming to the trial. We got one charge trying to make a charge to the outside. That's the 38 truck who was upside down earlier. Randy Combs up there on the high side.
Gee, do you think he used a fast repair?
Maybe. I would hope so.
I don't think there's any other way you're coming back from that without it.
I think you're right.
Matthew Byers, Adam Gardner, Josh Fox, that's your top 3, but they are 3 wide deeper in the field. Going to go on board here with Matthew Setzer. He's got the 45 of Merlin Duran to the high side. I'm almost afraid to go to this camera angle because it has not worked out well. As Kyle Lingerfeld shoots to the top of the racetrack, I might have just jinxed it again. He's now going to rub the wall going through turns 1 and 2.
Adam Gardner took the bait. We have now 3 lanes of racing right now. This is when the intensity level gets higher and higher and higher. Patience starts to wear thin. And right now, you got to start making moves. The sands at the hourglass are starting to run out. Kind of like the days of our lives. Oh!
Oh my.
They saved it. They saved it. They saved it.
We're going to go on board here with Matthew Setzer. Setzer coming back up to speed as he's going to try to get behind the Commonwealth Fire Protection number 6, driven by Joshua McClune. Curiouser and curiouser with now 10 laps to go. This is where we're going to see that heat crank back up, something we haven't seen since the drop of the green flag about an hour and a half ago.
And these guys are absolutely duking it out, coming to the triangle. That third line starting to get formed up there. Got to get some more help. They got to gain momentum. And there's that Kodak number 88 back there. But Adam Gardner trying to make that truck about 5 lanes wide. Just doesn't quite have it.
On board now with Chambersburg, Pennsylvania's Devin Smith, just behind the 99 of Forrest Hamilton Jr. Now they're going to stick together like glue here. They think they've got a little something to take to Matthew Byers. Now Byers qualified P7. Gardner, wow, back in P17. We just talked to him. So these drivers, anything can happen on a super speedway, and these drivers are out here to prove that to us tonight as we work now with 9 laps to go. Going to be just about 80 laps in the books in just a moment.
9 laps to go. We're still on board with Devin Smith. And here's the thing, Dave. I'm running that inside line. I'm glued to the yellow line. I'm not coming off of it. You would have to pry that inside line out of my cold, dead hands.
I always thought that was interesting. Cold, dead hands. You're really not cold when you're dead. You're room temperature.
Ambient temperature, yeah. But I always feel like in the trucks, the inside line has that just slight advantage. As we're still on board with this number 95 truck, you can see just how turbulent the air is right now. These are soapboxes that we're trying to draft with. And, Morgan Sterling is not turning the wheel back and forth like he's warming up tires. That's just how violent the air just moves you. And if you're on a motion platform rig, you are shaking violently up in that rig. As we come back out to the live shot or the wide picture here, you can just see how violent that air turbulence is. But Matthew Byers continues to lead the way. Josh Fox and that number 2 truck on the inside, that inside line's got that slight advantage.
7 laps to go now for Matthew Byers to be able to bring it home here, but I think he's got a lot of work cut out for him here. As the 94 and the 56 come out of turn 3 and out of turn 4 and go back to the front stretch. Hugging that yellow line is the 94. He's got a good push from the 2 of Josh Fox behind. 6 laps to go.
A half a dozen. Morgan Sterling goes to the outside. He's trying to fill in that outside line, and he's going to leave that 38 and the 56 truck behind. Keep giving that advantage to Matthew Byers and Josh Fox right now. If the race were to end right now, Adam Gardner would at least round out the podium.
And that's entirely possible as we take a look here at the 56. We're going to go on board right now once again with our friend Adam from earlier. He's kind of trying to lead his own charge out here on the high side, and I don't know if he's got enough help from the 38 of Kevin Thompson or if maybe they just need to wait a few more moments.
And just as you say that, 5 left to go, 5 flanges in the air. Adam Gardner trying to go Goodyear to Goodyear with Matthew Byers, but he's got to do it with Josh Fox. Out of turn number 3, down the back chute. Now we're going to start loving to touch and squeeze in there as we come down the back straightaway. Right now it's anybody's ball game. We're in the 4th quarter. It's 2-minute warning time.
Matthew Byers leading the way. Josh Fox running P2. Joshua Reese in P3. Adam Gardner in 4th and Kevin Thompson in 5th. I'm looking a little deeper back in the field. Devin Smith here in the 95. Now, we've talked about him a few times tonight, but maybe not a whole lot until now. He's anchoring, the first bit of that upper pack as Guadalupe Flores checks in with us. Elmer Guardado is here. But, as we get to this stage in the race with 4 laps to go, we're basically looking at how this thing's going to finish. I mean, we're going to see one good charge from one of these 2 lines on the high side. And quite frankly, I think with the 56 and the 38 kind of in the middle there, they don't have any additional help. They're going to need to get in front of that high line if they want to indeed challenge Byers and Fox for the race lead. 84 laps in the books, 4 to go, 3 when we come back to the line. 3 laps to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth. Want to thank everybody for tuning in both on YouTube and our new friends over on TikTok. 12,000 plus likes tonight on TikTok, and we do appreciate that. Adam Gardner and Matthew Byers leading us back to the start-finish line as they come down the back chute and haul it into turn number 3.
Down the back straightaway, Matthew Byers, Adam Gardner trying to get that slight advantage. Needs just a little more help. And they have the same amount of trucks as he's still going to fall back to that 3rd position, coming down out of turn number 4, avoiding the lap truck. They have the single file out. We almost had a huge mess on our hands. Adam Gardner got the best drafting partner. He's going to go to the extreme outside line. 2 laps to go.
You betcha the popsicle sticks are in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Adam Gardner makes the run to the outside as we fight through the fog one more time. Good sweet mother of God. Adam Gardner now cycles up to your race lead. We heard from him just a few moments ago during that 4th caution. Now we're watching him come through turns 3 and 4 as they roll through turn 3 and put their sights on 4 and the tri-oval. Again, we remind ourselves all the time that start-finish line is beyond the apex of the tri-oval where we would traditionally see it at a racetrack. And as they come back toward that start-finish line, Josh Fox is going to take the white flag. The popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers 3 wide as we work back around this racetrack tonight. Talladega Superspeedway, the site of so many important race finishes over our history in NASCAR. And now they want to maybe make it 4 wide. Josh Fox, after qualifying P11, he takes over the race lead for the time being. He's got the 94 of Matthew Byers behind him. They're getting squirrely.
What a
3
block.
wide. They're wrecking in the back. They wreck in the front. Who's going to come across the line? Sweet mother of Christ. Maybe it's Tyler Merkel? It's Tyler Merkel. Tyler Merkel, Jonathan Byer, and Forrest Hamilton Jr. come across the line. And I don't think Tyler Merkel even had an idea. Let's go back to the replay.
That was one of those mash the gas until you see either checkered flag or Jesus.
He just kept going, stayed in it, got off the throttle just in time. My heavens. We're going to watch this again from his rear. So as they start wrecking in the front, the 95 and the 44, they're all losing their minds behind him, and he just kept going, watching the carnage unfold, and they were wrecked in front of him. Let's go to Joshua McClune. Oh. Yeah, literally the entire field wrecked. Tyler Markle is going to be named our race winner. Watch the entire field wreck in front of him. I don't know if he's a betting man, but if I were him, I'd go play the lottery. While we wait for our drivers to get back into, of course, our broadcast waiting room, we're going to take a quick look here at our finishing order. Tyler Markle picks up the win. Jonathan Byer and Forrest Hamilton. We're going to talk to the three of those drivers momentarily on the podium. Matthew Byers and Joshua McClune round out your top five, while Brandon Combs, Morgan Sterling, Doug Salmus, Joshua Reese, and Kevin Thompson make up your top 10. Josh Fox comes home in P11th with Matthew Setzer in 12th. Jeremiah Stutzman, Merlin Duran, Devin Smith, Adam Gardner, Kyle Lingerfelt, and Andrew St. Cour. That's your top 18. And then we go down here. Aiden Giordano, Ben Henry, Joshua Ballier, and Jesse Adams make up the best of the rest. They're going to beat those drivers to the beer stand. But right now, let's not waste any more time. Driver of the number 42, Tyler Markle. Hey, Tyler, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm guessing that you're sitting there in complete disbelief.
Oh, I can't believe it. I haven't raced in forever, and we pulled out a win with everybody parting ways from me.
I mean, I haven't seen things separate that since Moses parted the Red Sea in Exodus.
I have not either, but you know what? Thanks to my friend, Malenko, even though he wrecked out, he helped for a little bit today. Strategy did well and got me up there at the one caution, and I think the second to last caution saved me because I was by myself after the last green flag pit stops.
Yeah, man, quite a finish tonight. Well, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who do you need to tip your helmet to for this win tonight for the 42 team?
I'm just gonna say myself. I haven't raced all year just because of how my work schedule is, and thanks to my friends at EWRL, all my friends there. So thank you. I hope you guys have a good night.
All right, my friend, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's the voice of Tyler Markle. Next up on our podium, and I believe Alan has him now, is Jonathan Byer.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Jonathan Byer, first of all, that wreck coming through, what was going through your mind, and what was your strategy to getting through that wreck besides not wrecking?
Grass. So luckily I had a little bit of practice with that. Earlier in the race I had to avoid a wreck through the grass, so I kind of knew how far I could push that. I couldn't get track position late, and when it gets 3 wide, it's hard to kind of find your way through, and without teammates out here, it's even harder, right? So I kind of just knew I was gonna have to sit at the back at the end of this and just take what I was given, right? Just pick them off as they start to fall, and it took them almost the entire last lap for that to happen. But once it did, I just pedal was to the floor, never lifted. Just got enough pavement at the end to get it to the line. While I started to spin out right before that, but I don't know how I missed the 38 coming across the track there at the very end. That was pretty close, but we'll take P2.
Yeah, and once again, nonetheless here, congratulations on P2. But before we get you out of here, who do you like to thank and who helped you get it down on that number 13 truck?
I got a long list. Just the Michael Steele Graphics and Designs team. This is the first paint scheme of them I've ever run, and this was a new scheme tonight that I threw together right before the race started with one of Michael's existing designs, and he's currently sponsoring the summer series that I run over at Speed Racing Network, and so it's just been a pleasure to work with those guys and give him as much of a shout out as I can. That they do incredible paint scheme work over there. Bolify, Tournament Pay, Bowlers Mart, Southwest Auto Shield, Longo Toyota Prosper, and the JBR guys. I hung it up for a while. I was running leagues, not racing much. Kind of figured out what I was missing here recently. So I've gotten the wheel back on the desk, starting to get out here again. The Park brothers turned me on to this series, and I'm having a blast so far.
Awesome. Well, once again, congratulations on the P2 finish, and we'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. See you next week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And of course, last but certainly not least, as Jonathan scurries away here, we're going to talk to Forrest Hamilton Jr., our pole sitter, who now finishes in third position. Hey, Jonathan, it's Dave. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Forrest, it's Dave. Listen, I mean, a tough break for you tonight. I don't know why I said Jonathan, except that I was looking at his name and clicking on yours. But, you know, a tough night for you, especially it's a hard pill to swallow when you do so well for so long and come up short here after literally the entire field wrecks. How are you feeling as you come down from the excitement of tonight's race?
I'm feeling good. We executed, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Now, one of the things that I always wonder is how frustrating is it when you run such a good race for so long and then that incident at the very end happens? Is that frustrating, or do you just accept that as super speedway racing?
I mean, it is frustrating because me and the 28 worked together so well that me and him pretty much controlled the field, and we were hoping to get there at the end. We just ran out of time, and I mean, I guess it worked out that we hung back because when that whole field wrecked, I drove through the middle and almost pretty much never touched the ground coming to the start finish line.
Yeah, that's what it looked like from our perspective, but you know, super speedways will do what super speedways do. So, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done tonight here in the 99 truck?
Just good teamwork, man. At the end of the day, we all stay together. We execute together. That's the best thing that we can do.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, congratulations on the P3 finish, and they'll see you next week. I will not. I'll be on vacation.
All right. Thank you.
All right, brother. That the voice of Forrest Hamilton Jr., driver of the number 99. Alan, it's been fun. It's been real. And I got to tell you, it has definitely been real fun tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great show overall. But I still have, well, I finally got my jaw picked up off the floor after that exciting finish. I cannot wait for the next one. You will be at Myrtle Beach. I will be in here with one of our other esteemed broadcast partners. But nonetheless, Dave, don't get too sunburnt next week.
I will do my very best. And folks, we want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be, and however you may be listening. And we want to thank you for trusting us to entertain you for the last just about 2 hours. So for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Alan Bergen, we want to thank you one more time. And tomorrow, and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.